is Vietnam really that affordable? How safe it is? How convenient it is to live in Da Nang or in Vietnam in general? I'm gonna give you my real honest thought about living in Vietnam. It seems like everybody's looking to move to Da Nang, Vietnam nowadays. So I've been to Da Nang twice and I lived there for around a month on my last visit. As a digital nomad, it is one of the destinations that people hype out because the cost of living is very affordable. And if we are comparing it to Bali or Chiang Mai or Bangkok in Thailand, I can confirm that yes, it is more affordable. Rent there is significantly more affordable compared to Bali. Eating out and the activity itself is also very affordable. But despite of the cost of living, I still chose to not live in Da Nang for several reasons that I'm gonna share with you guys. Let's start with why I decided to move to Da Nang last year. After Bali, I always want to live near the ocean where I can surf easily, and Da Nang seems to be like a perfect place for that. And I did really miss that after living in Chiang Mai and Bangkok for a couple months. So that's why we decided to go to Vietnam and specifically Da Nang. The first thing though that you really want to keep in mind is getting a visa to Vietnam, especially for a longer stay, is a little bit more tricky compared to Bali, Indonesia, or Thailand in general. If you're a US citizen or a Canadian, you do need a visa to stay in Vietnam or like to visit Vietnam. It's very different from like other Southeast Asia countries where you can just like get a visa extension and you can stay for 30 days without a visa. So I think that's one thing that you want to keep in mind. As someone who comes from Southeast Asia, I don't really require a visa to stay there for 30 days. So it was pretty convenient for me. I landed in Da Nang and the weather was like really amazing for the first few days. One thing that you're gonna realize after you landed in Vietnam is the traffic and also the noises. People do really honk a lot in Vietnam and the traffic does really stress me out. I used to like drive bike around Bali or Thailand, but in Vietnam I didn't even touch the bike because I just don't think that I'm comfortable enough to drive there. People seem to come from like every direction. They're honking a lot and yeah, if you're uncomfortable with driving, I would highly suggest not to drive in Vietnam. The thing is, even crossing the road is pretty tricky in Vietnam because they don't really stop at you. In some cases, they don't even really stop at the red light, so it was very chaotic. So I know for me, I want to live somewhere where it's possible for me to drive around. Luckily, they do have Grab in Da Nang. So basically, you still can order your bike ride or the car ride through the app. So that's how you can get around, or you can walk. They do have some sidewalk, but this is another thing that I don't really enjoy about Vietnam in general is it's pretty dirty, and it's bad because Vietnam is such a beautiful country. Da Nang itself is such a beautiful city, beautiful coastal city, and it's just sad seeing trash everywhere. People in Vietnam is very warm and they did try to like talk to you or make you feel welcome, and I really appreciate that. But the other thing is, compared to Bali or Thailand, people in Vietnam don't really speak much English, so it was harder to communicate in that sense. I had to use Google Translate almost everywhere, and I also got this translation device that made communication easier, and it was fine if you're only staying in Vietnam for a couple months or as a tourist, but I can't imagine like living there without learning how to speak Vietnamese. In terms of conveniency with the visa, transportation, and also the language barrier, I would rate it 3 out of 5. One thing that I really love about Da Nang or Vietnam in general is the food though. It's so easy to eat healthy there because Vietnamese food in general are just like really healthy. They put a bunch of vegetable, a lot of soup, a lot of steamed stuff, and I did really enjoy it. I also noticed that the quality of food is really good there and it's still really affordable compared to the other neighboring countries. I didn't really get any food poisoning, thankfully. Compared to Thailand, I enjoyed Thai food too, but I did ended up having like a food poisoning in Thailand. Since I was living in Danang, so they have a lot of options for seafood, but also you can find any other international restaurant nearby pretty easily. And if you're a coffee lover, you're gonna love Vietnam because they have a lot of different type of coffee. I gotta say, like, the coffee options there are pretty unique because they have this unique egg coffee. I tried a popcorn coffee too, which was like, it was nice, a little bit too sweet for me, but it was a nice experience. There are a bunch of like co-working cafes that you can go to work or just to get breakfast or lunch. So in terms of restaurant and dining there, Danang for me is 5 out of 5. Now let's talk about the quality of life. So this will include like how much you're paying for rent and also like the activity that you can do around Danang. I'm gonna say like the cost of renting a place in Danang is obviously a lot cheaper compared to Bangkok or Bali. You can find a good accommodation or rent an apartment as little as like $300 to like $500 per month. So that's not something that you can get in Bali or in Bangkok. And also like mostly the electricity and the water is also included, so it's a pretty good deal. And if you're a digital nomad like me or you're someone who works remotely, you definitely want to know about the Wi-Fi stability in Danang. And so far from my experience, it has a reliable Wi-Fi connection. If you decided to check out Danang, you definitely want to make sure about the Wi-Fi connection at your Airbnb before you book the Airbnb. But yeah, Danang in general is somewhere you might want to check out if you're a digital nomad or if you can work remotely from anywhere you want. Which, by the way, I know a lot of you guys also want to start working remotely and you want to learn how to be able to work remotely, and it all comes to the skills that you can monetize online. It doesn't really matter what your background is or what your degree is. If you're new to my channel, I used to work at a hospital as a doctor, so I studied medicine for 7 years, and after 7 years I decided to switch a career path by taking online classes and learning about digital marketing, which led me to where I am right now. So if you're someone who's looking into a way to work remotely or learn a new skill so you can work remotely, I will leave a link down below where you can check out some of the courses by Course Careers. By taking these online courses, you're saving a lot of time and money because you can pretty much learn anywhere, or if you're looking to switch career like what I did before, you can do this between your job. You'll also get some discount by using my link below. In terms of things that you can do around the city, Danang is a coastal city, which means like it has the beach, and that's also like one thing that really drawn me towards Danang is because it's a city but you have a good access to the beach. Anyway, there is this one time when we went to the beach for a morning walk and we saw a lot of cockroaches at the beach, and yeah, I don't know for what reason it was, but either way, there's a lot of activities that you can do around the beach. You can surf, you can do bodyboarding. Also, they have Sun World in Danang, which is like one of the biggest theme park there in Vietnam, and it was like really fun to explore. You need a whole day to explore the theme park, and it was a really fun experience to try out if you're in Danang. So yeah, in terms of excursion and activity to do, there's a lot of things to do in Danang. So in that sense, I would rate it 4 out of 5. I would have rated 5 if it's not for the cockroaches. One of the biggest reasons why I decided to leave Danang is I don't really feel the sense of community in Danang. I mean, compared to Thailand or Bali, Indonesia, it's really easy to meet people, especially in Bali. Like, you've seen a lot of like digital nomad community or people who are starting their online business as well and they're traveling around. It's always nice to connect with like-minded people, and I didn't have that in Danang. This point of my life, I really prioritize having a good community that can help each other to grow further in life and also developing your business. You've seen a lot of people living short term in Vietnam, and it was nice, but it's also hard to like keep making an effort to meet new people once your friends left the city. And I think the main reason why people mostly won't stay for long term in Da Nang is because of the visa situation. It is harder to obtain a long term visa compared to Thailand or Indonesia. So yeah, that's my final opinion about Da Nang. Would I go back? Yes, definitely, depending on the season. It was also bad because I went there in, I think, by the end of the year. So it was a rainy season. It rained almost every single day and the wind was like too strong. But if you go around March or April, I heard the weather is really nice in Da Nang. So yeah, I would definitely love to go back and check it out, but personally I wouldn't move there long term. I still prefer Bali, Indonesia or Chiang Mai, Thailand to live for long term, but I hope this video gives you some useful information if you're looking to move to Da Nang. Obviously there's a lot of good things about Da Nang, but I just want to be transparent here. Some things might not work out for you, some things might work for you, so yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm thinking about making this a series, rating every cities that I've lived in, so you'll get better information about that. But yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll talk to you guys on my next one. Bye!